I just, before I'm going to get to the panel, I want to just say, yesterday we talked about, a lot of the most important topic. And in many ways, there's already have answer if we look at it globally. In China, they don't get a DDS degree. They getting an MD on stomatology. And in Middle East, and a lot of the things is with a universal health care, and the dental and the medical is incredibly integrated. And so it's a great honor to actually have all these distinguished gentlemen and the ladies and to share some of their experience and the vision. So with this, I will start with Thomas. Now for each of you, you can introduce yourself first, and you'll be better than I do it, and then talk about the experience. So, but Tom is somebody really fitting the profile of the DDS. He had the DDS, he had the PhD, and he had MBA. And that is fitting the profile of the clinician scientist. And he happened to be one of the best friends of Dai and had a lot of conversations. So Tom, I would love to have you start sharing your perspective and reacting to what Dai just said.
All right, thank you so much. So my background is I've been in leadership roles in academia in Europe, US, as well as in Asia for the last 10 years. My job mostly was helping an environment that helps our faculty and our students to succeed in research, teaching, patient care, as also then in innovation. I have worked extensively with industry and also got some products to the market that are being sold globally. Now, when it comes to commenting on Dai's talk, first of all, I thought it was a wonderful and broad overview of all the complexities that are involved in innovation and bringing innovation to the market. I fully subscribe to what you call three-body problem, which on the one hand is making innovation, making care cheaper and better, and then also fitting it into the workflow, which is often the critical part. And he puts the clinician science into that. And I think as he asked Ben, what is a clinician scientist? So one description of that is somebody who got a clinical training, and another one got also scientific training as a PhD, so DDS, PhD. Or it is a clinician that has a very intensive interest and also good understanding of the science behind that. And the clinician scientist, I believe, has that role. However, as Dai also put it, the clinician scientists sometimes get it wrong. So what does it cause for the clinician scientist to get it wrong? On the one hand, the complexity of the whole issue, and at the same token, is it the right skill set the clinician scientist has? So on the one hand, I believe a clinician scientist who is involved in innovation needs to be excited about it. He needs to be open about it. He needs to live on the edge of the scientific field. He needs to live in the future and look forward to change. He must not be limited by rigid clinical standards of care, which often comes with, in particular, when you think about specialty training. And it sometimes hampers the mindset of young clinicians to really think out of the box and be able to see something that could be different in the care. So they need to be able to see the gap in the care that is there and not understand or just look at what can we do. And we can do a lot in dentistry. We can solve most of the problems. But if you look instead of where is the glass half full, where is it half empty? So that's where the opportunity really lies for that clinician scientist. And for investors or entrepreneurs, if you're looking for clinician scientists, I would suggest you look for those skills of the people that you are working with. When it comes to the clinician scientist, what are the skills that you need in order to work with that? On the one hand, I think having experience in innovation, working with multidisciplinary teams, having an open mind is very important, and also understanding some of the commercial aspect of innovation. Innovation, we use that term very often very broadly, is basically technology plus commercialization. And if you talk about clinician scientists, if they are basic scientists, they often learned about research. And the researcher tries to understand. The innovator tries to solve a problem which is often ill-defined. And that's the skill set that one needs to develop through being curious, through exploration, and then hopefully finding meaningful innovation in that respect and contributing to the ecosystem that is necessary to make it work.
Thank you, Thomas. Now, I travel the world and meeting many of the deans, and among all those great dental schools, there's two dental schools who always make me really jealous, and both of them are here. And Dean Deng from Beijing University, and their dental school see almost 2 million patients a year and have amazing and technology development capacity and incredible medical dental integration. And same thing has also happened at our dear partner of Seoul National University. We're actually very proud we're going to be open our A5 branch and at the Seoul National University as Joint Research Institute. So I would love to have you two share your perspective with such a powerhouse and how you will be reacting to what Dai just said. Maybe I'll start with Dean Deng.
Yeah, I prepare. Yeah. So I'm glad to be part of this wonderful panel. My name is Xuliang Deng, and I'm from the School of Stomatology, Peking University. I'm now the dean of this school. Every year, and maybe last year, we see 2 million patients. Yeah, and this year, I think over 2.5 million patients. Yeah. With a population of less than 350 million, the US spend over 150 billion on dental care each year. In contrast, China has a population over 1.4 billion. Yet 10 years ago, the total dental spending was less than about 1 billion per year. Despite the huge growth of the past 10 years, China's current total dental spending is still less than 8 billion per year. So as the world's second largest economic entity with a strong focus on healthcare, the Chinese dental market is expected to continue growing exponentially. From restorative dentistry to implant, orthodontics, and AI-assisted dental diagnostics, we need all kinds of innovative technologies to be introduced to the Chinese market. I would like to extend a warm welcome to you all to come to China. Thanks to our strong research and development capacity in oral health and the PKU School of Stomatology, we play a key role in helping the Chinese FDA regulate dental products. For example, all international dental materials must be tested in my school in the Dental Material Test Center before this product can be approved for sale in China. Last year, the Chinese Ministry of Health also designated PKU-SS as the testing center for all international toothpaste before they could be approved by the Chinese FDA. I'm delighted to have visited the ADA Forsyth Institute in Boston, a global pioneer in scientific and technological innovation and transformation. and to have seen it relocate to an industrial park that brings it closer to industry. This move will be particularly conducive to the development to the dental industry. It mirrors in our effort in China, where Peking University has partnered with the government to set up an oral innovation and transformation base in the Beijing Capital International Airport Development Zone. Our goal is to turn innovation in dentistry into products and create a new hub for the oral health industry. Companies in this zone benefit from excellent research and transformation platforms, as well as convenience such as rent-free premises, shared laboratory, and production spaces, one-stop clinical trial service, and expedient approval channels for registration certificates. Alongside our innovative PIs for creating intellectual properties and establishing startup companies, our hospital and school have our own for-profit company, and we form partnerships with various national and international companies for joint ventures in technology development. I look forward to the opportunity to work with you in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to turn to Dean Park and to share your perspectives.
Thank you for your kind introduction. And I also, the English is my mother tongue, so I prepared something. I truly resonate with much of the Mr. Daifang's message. And I believe his talk offered excellent inspiration to many of the audience of the dental startup leaders in here today. And at Seoul National University, both in the past and now, we are working with numerous dental companies, as just Mr. Fang described. The vast majority of them are founded and run by the clinician scientists, actually. And if you look at some of the best known implant companies, such as Ostem and Megazen or the Dentium, is all founded and expanded under the guidance of the clinician scientists. And beyond these large firms, many smaller companies have been created and operated by the practicing dentists, and with 3 of them are participated in this audience together. And their ideas typically come from the unmet needs they experience in daily clinical practices, asking themselves how a particular disease or treatment steps could be improved or made easier, or they move effective to improve patients' benefit, and then turning these ideas into the real products. And yesterday in the keynote, we discussed the importance of the oral healthcare systems are incorporated within the larger healthcare ecosystem. I agree this integration is essential. At the same time, I would like to point out our distinctive features of the dental technology, dental startup landscape. Unlike many areas of healthcare, the purchasing decision and the ultimate adoption of the new dental product is often made by the individual dentist who owns and operates a private clinic. I agree with the Daifang's idea that a small business mindset is very important to decide some kind of the developing new product or not. In this sense, dentistry can sometimes resemble a B2C model, not a B2B model. So it is very important key point we think over the new product. That is why the 3 vectors Mr. Fang highlighted, clinical efficacy, workflow, and pricing, play an even greater role in dentistry. Dentists usually immediately feel whether a product improves workflow, and the patients quickly signal their reaction. And dissatisfaction at the chair side often becomes the driving force for a new innovation. And pursuing clinician scientists to create new devices and materials. As a result, clinician scientists have a very distinct intuition for the true value of an improvement, and that translates into a clear sense of what they are willing to pay. Pricing in dentistry, in other words, is closely tied to this immediate perception of clinical and practical values. We see this clearly in digital dentistry now, while this technology looks very fancy, and in the end, it must clearly demonstrate what advantage it has over conventional conventional methods to actually open the buyer's wallet. Scanners companies and software firms may emphasize technical features compared to the competitors, but my own perspective to these companies is that usability must be considered first. And users must be able to approach the technology easily, heavy users usually, see their daily workflow improve, reduce tasks they dislike, and deliver outcomes that the patients appreciate. I often use the analogy of the smartphones. Most phones users only utilize a fraction of an advanced features available, yet early developers often focus too much on the expert users. The early adopters who love to experiment with every functions, but the real market is the much larger group of the users who are not an expertise. So for them, the product must be simple, intuitive, and clearly improve daily life. That, I believe, is the most mindset we need in the dental technology. Finally, let me mention one area I still find lacking in dental startups as pharmaceuticals. We have not seen enough innovations in dental drugs and the medications. So I believe this is a domain where improvement and greater focus would be very meaningful in the next session and in the future of the oral healthcare. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Park. Now, as Dai talking about the three-body solution, we do know one of the critical success in dental innovation is not only the technology, but also the clinical adoption. And so with us is three deans have been doing some amazing innovative actions and related to a clinical teaching, clinical activity. So maybe I'll start with Ali and share some of the fascinating things you're doing.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here. Boston is home for me as from elementary, middle school to dental school number 2 and residency and practice ownership and DSO. My life has been in the New England area, so it's always good to be back and a pleasure to be with many people amongst here that have been mentors, professors, and inspiration for me at least. We are a startup dental school based in North Carolina, nestled between Charlotte and Chapel Hill in a very underserved area, which is measured by a healthcare professional shortage area score. And a lot of the comments that Daifeng made were very thought-provoking and reminded me of a lot of the surveys we did as a brand new dental school when we were going out there and understanding what is the challenge? How do we define the problem as scrupulously as possible? Because it is our responsibility building something new, that it can't just be new for the sake of new. It must have a linkage to purpose, a linkage to significance that can be measured, that can be tracked, and that can be evaluated. And based on hundreds of interactions with key opinion leaders in academia, outside of medicine, in industry, employers, large healthcare systems, we found that the lowest common denominator is where we need to focus, which is the dental student. And what is the dental student of 2030 going to look like? And so when we look at all the rapid advances that we have gone through in our dear lifetimes, through having the ability to access robust data through a smartphone and can answer as many complex information as we need, content is not the singular shortcoming that we have. It's more of context and a throughput of direction and the need for high-level, systems-level thinking. And I think there's a lot of responsibility that a dentist has or a healthcare professional has when they graduate into the real world, if you will, whether it's in a private practice or it's in a public health facility or in a hospital or in a large group practice, is how do you become a systems-level thinker so that when you do sit in a room together with people of varying different backgrounds, we can come up and answer a question. And so for that, we had to build an ecosystem where we could enable that sort of stuff. From being just a school that is going to focus on accreditation and curriculum, we wanted to be a sandbox for clinical innovation in authentic practice environments. And what does authentic practice environment mean? It means we have to acquire settings that look no different than my private practice that I had in Maine, or a DSO that I worked in New England, or a hospital that I currently work in, a cancer center. We have to recreate a system where we can bring authentic learning experiences in the real world, from the management of people to the assessment of key performance indicators, to understanding the importance of huddles, debriefs, and to be an easy-to-do business partner where we are able to bring in pipeline startup innovations from the very get-go, and instead of being at the later stage of development, we are positioned to be in an early stage to be a co-developer, so that in our practice environments, which we acquire and build in the network, we are able to provide a realistic environment of doing validation studies. And these are clinicians that have worked for 15, 20 years. We acquire their practice, they become part of our network. And so it's the first of its kind academic oral health system that we call High Point University Health, where as a nonprofit, we, the university, are going and choosing practices that fit with our model. Think of a Mayo Clinic or an MD Anderson or Mass General Brigham with a distributed academic model that has research, patient-first healthcare, and education as a byproduct of that. And so that model we call as the CARE model, which stands for clinician, advocate, researcher, and entrepreneur. And so our curriculum requires practicum experience, experiential experience in those 4 domains where our students are in the real practice environments, seeing real interactions that happen in patient care, and developing their acumen at a systems level thinker. And we graduate our first class in 2 years, and it's really trying to address the question of how do we get our next generation excited about and critically thinking about innovation at the pipeline.
Thank you. Dean Manal.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Manal Halabi. I'm the Dean of the Hamdan bin Mohammed Dental College, part of Health Sciences University in Dubai. Actually, 3 years ago or 4 years ago, we became the academic arm of the first academic health system in Dubai. And with that, this integration within the academic health system it actually changed the whole way we teach, and it changed the whole way we treat patients. And this put the college at a very big advantage in terms of the educational experience as well as the innovations and the clinical experience. Being part of this big academic health system gives us a big advantage because we have the access for this whole patient population, the whole public health system in the Emirate of Dubai, which actually exposes our students to this large number of patients with sometimes complex cases, being also the you know the referral center for this emirate, and we you know this actually gave us a huge advantage, because any in terms of clinical experience as well as you know research, because you know it gives us that opportunity to you know do the clinical research on this large population of patients. It also actually gave us access to an integrated medical record. So we have the advantage of having an integrated dental medical record. Our dental records are integrated within the medical record system. So that also created a great opportunity for us to get, you know, we are sitting on a wealth of information that can be used, and we are planning to use it to the you know, for the advantage of patients and research. With that, we also have, as part of the academic system, we have access to the Innovation Center, the Dubai Health Innovation Center, which our students get, our students and faculty get exposed at an early stage to the Innovation Center. We organize innovation boot camps for them, just to get them, to get that feel and to get that interest in them into innovations. And within our curricula, we actually, we're a small dental college. We only have graduate programs. And our graduate programs are combined clinical training as well as, a master's degree. And some of our graduates go on to do a PhD also. So with this, we place very high emphasis on the importance of the integration of research and science into the practice, and this encourages the atmosphere of creating the clinician scientist within our clinical practice. We try our best also to expose, first of all, expose our students to the to the new technology, so that to get them not only to get them familiarized with the use of technology, but as well as to get their to get them into that habit, if I may call it, of always seeking and always being not hopefully, we hope that some of them would turn out to be innovators, but if they're not innovators, at least they are, we want them to be early adopters of innovations. I believe the ecosystem that we have within the college, the university, and the health system encourages the with the background of research, as well as this clinical environment with also patient first centered care, encourages this and of course we are still in very, very early stages of being part of a young country. The UAE is a young country. We're in early stages of creating this environment of innovations, creating clinician scientists, and we have great connections with the Dubai Future Foundation, which heavily supports research and development, heavily supports our faculty, and within that, of course, the students, our students. So we're just hoping and on our way to create an ecosystem that hopefully will develop innovations in education.
Thank you, Dean Manal. Turn to Dean Mert.
Okay, I'm Mert Aksu. I'm currently serving as Dean of the School of Dentistry at the University of Detroit Mercy, and I really liked our keynote speaker, Dave. It was great. Disruptive innovation, it's the key to success of every industry. And we have a history in our profession as clinicians of not adopting to disruptive innovation as it occurs around us. We're considered to be a legacy dental school, which means that we've been around since before the 1970s, and legacy dental schools, for the most part, have long had curriculums that differ today than compared to what the emerging dental schools are developing. And it's important to look at from a standpoint of how we teach our clinicians as to how they're going to practice and how they're going to embrace change throughout the course of their careers. In many instances, the United States has been graduating dentists that have been taught in a siloed, isolated way. And still today, many of the legacy dental schools are still teaching in an isolated, siloed way, the same way that they were teaching 50 years ago. This is a significant concern and a significant reality because our clinicians need to be prepared for the rapid change and rapid evolution that's occurring in medicine and dentistry, especially will occur over the next 30 years. Day mentioned the impact of clinician preference as far as how practice occurs and how technology or new innovation is adopted. We need to prepare the next generation of clinicians to be comfortable to adopt to new techniques, new innovation, and new ideas. We need to teach them how to critically evaluate those new ideas so that it's not about clinician preference, that it's truly about the science and the strength of the science behind those. And we also need to think differently as far as how dentistry is delivered today. The small 2,000 patient general dental practices will probably continue to decline throughout our times. And I point this out, and I think about dentistry in some ways almost like the auto industry in the early 1900s. In the early 1900s, most automobiles made in the United States were made one, by hand, by artisans, craftsmen, in small production shops. And suddenly, as having grown up in Dearborn, which is the hometown of Henry Ford, you know what Henry Ford did. He disrupted the auto industry by creating a mechanism to build a car that reduced the costs, improved the quality, but some would argue then reduced the choices and options available because you could only buy the car as long as you liked black. So, but one of the things that we can learn from is some of the disruptions that occur in the past in other industries. And we need to really study those disruptions as a profession because, so one of the things that I've done as a dean of a legacy dental school is we eliminated discipline-based mentality for teaching our students. We looked at the auto industry as how is a car built? We're building future clinicians. We're building a car, and so how do we build the clinician of the future in order to be best well prepared to meet those needs? And the way that I sort of led the process is, and I sat in front of my chairs. I had a perio department, I had an endo department, I had various discipline-based departments. And I said the departments based on disciplines will be ending. And we created integrated departments with multi-specialty teams to build the product. And we build the product like a car is being built, where you have a team of people, the powertrain person, the cabin person, the fit and finish person, the glass person, the aerodynamics person, and you put teams of multi-specialty groups together to build the dentist. And so we build the dentist in two components. We have the chassis, which is your first 2 years of production, and we have the finished product, which is the last 2 years of production. And we deliberately structure those processes so that integration occurs as part of the curriculum, and that integration is not dependent upon the student putting it together. We put it together as we build the product. And so our goal is, and our commitment is, has been, is to provide the workforce with a critically high-skilled, critical thinking, practice-ready clinician that's ready and adaptable to change throughout the next 30 years, which is the career span of most clinicians. Because we know that the way that they practice 30 years from now is not going to be the way they practice today. And so we need to prepare them for that. You know, I remember in dental school mixing zinc phosphate cement, and there's probably still people using zinc phosphate cement. You know, and you can pick the topic. You know, it's still being sold today, some of that stuff that no one uses, right? No clinician that graduates today will even look at zinc phosphate. So I think the key thing is that we need to, there's several concepts here that I pointed out. We need to look at other industries for sources as to how we build our products for the future. We need to be more adaptable to change. We need to critically think so that we can evaluate the emerging technologies and emerging sciences. We need to partner with industry. We can't go it alone. At the University of Detroit Mercy, the School of Dentistry is known for the strength of the clinicians we graduate. We're not part of an academic medical center. We are isolated, so we have to overcome that isolation deliberately, thoughtfully, and critically. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today. I really want to ask more questions than I answer, because if I ask more questions, questions will lead to answers that I'm not even thinking about. So I appreciate that, and I really appreciate your attention to our presentation here today.
Thank you, Dean Mert. I know we're way behind the schedule, but those are the perspectives are way too important. They have to share. We go to our last panelist is very special, and I call him a dental czar because if anybody have 1,000 chairs, we'll be bragging about it, but that's not even 10% of what he's overseeing. Go ahead.
Thank you. Actually, my name is Ali. I'm the Director of Dental Service at the Ministry of Health in Saudi Arabia. I went to school here in Boston. I did my grad school also as well in Boston, and I did an MBA in France. Actually, I'm happily one of Dr. Van Dak's students. That was like 20 years ago, something like that. And back to the point, I think, actually, I'm really happy here because I really, at the MOH, at that level, almost 1,500 dental chair, supervising an 18,000 dentist, a general practitioner, dentist, and a specialist. We do have a healthcare transformation back home in Saudi Arabia, and then the dental service is part of it. The role of the MOH now is moving from public-based healthcare into a legislature and a regulator, where we're going to have a three-party system. There's a payer, there's a provider, and a legislator. Moving there requires a change of a culture from a salary-based healthcare provider into incentive, value-based healthcare, and this and that. I think the role of the MOHs will be goes not like the role of the academia, but mainly will focus on the policy and the regulations. How could we develop the ecosystem that adapt these things? Are we doing that? Definitely, we're doing that. Electronic health record has been now. We built a very big electronic health record where a lot of almost 9 million patients on that record, where we can see a lot of data that comes out of it connected to a live dashboard. We can see the number of patients, access to care, number of no-shows, what kind of procedures they have. We're having a PAC system for the whole nation where all the x-rays, the intraoral scanners, they're all there, where we could, we just started the project where we have AI reading all the x-rays and trying to connect the x-rays with the treatment plan and seeing, does the patient have everything done for him or no? And moving from there and see what kind of missing procedures here and there. Again, as my colleagues here, they said, at the MOH, we developed the ecosystem. We're having the system analysis and the system-based systems. And I think all the new products will help us if it is access to care, the cost efficiency, we're actually very pleased to adapt them and have them. And we're actually working with a few companies here in the US in terms of upgrading the product they have and trying to have it on a larger scale. That's all.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks again for the great panel, and we're now going to move on. I'm going to turn the stage to my colleague Ben Wu, and we're going to get it going for the next one. But thank you so much. Wonderful panel. Please, go ahead.